Hello, I'm Deborah Sword.
Hi, I'm Tyson Bankert.
Tyson, as you know, I'm writing a novel. Well, I've written a novel, and I've got people who are reading it and they're critiquing it.
Mm.
This is my brainchild. This is something I've invested a lot of time in,
Mhm.
and they're giving me comments and criticisms. And my challenge is to accept their criticism non-defensively, to not, yes, but
Mm, mhm, mhm,
you don't like this, yes, but.
mhm, 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 mhm.
How do you listen non-defensively?
Do I is the real question. No, I think for me, it is very much being open and receptive to hearing what other people are at least trying to tell me. It's some of that perspective taking. Where are they getting this impression? Have I done that thing that they only understand? What's their experience? Um, and I think it has also been about me being in control of my emotions. Like, why am I so serious about this? Are they hitting an insecurity? And sometimes it's actually okay to share. When you say that, when I hear you say that, it makes me feel this way, and I know that might not be what you mean. I'm just letting you know that you're touching a soft point, or that makes me want to emotionally emote something, versus actually listening. It makes it harder for me to listen. And I don't do this always perfectly, depends.
Yeah.
But I do know that that's a way to evaluate, critique, or evaluate what people are seeing and saying rather than get defensive.
I also try to do that and manage my emotional reaction. And we talk often, you and I, Tyson, about responding, not reacting,
Hmm.
that to disconnect how you want to react with a question instead.
Mm.
What did you mean when you said that?
Hmm.
Or can I say more about that because I want to understand you before you respond? Ask a question.
Hmm. Hmm.
The other way I listen non-defensively is through gratitude. I say thank you. How often do we wonder what somebody thinks of us? And here's somebody telling you, what a gift. I want to hear that. If I'm coming across in a particular way, I might not intend it. I might not know how what I'm saying is landing on the other person because I don't know what their sensitivities
Hmm.
are. I don't know where they hurt. Did
Hmm.
I just poke them in a sore spot? If they push back, they've given me a gift
Hmm.
that, okay, now I know that when I'm with this person, this is not a topic they want to discuss. Could they have told me that in a nicer way? Well, probably,
Hmm. Hmm.
because the way they said it sounded pretty judgmental and
Right.
accusatory, but I'm not in charge of them.
Hmm. And I think so much of being defensive just begets more defensiveness, right? If I get defensive, then you get defensive, and then you get defensive, and you start to lose the plot of
Yeah.
what actually is happening. And this and at some point there needs to be the competency to not get defensive. Right. Like one of the two people then now who are now in this mode of being defensive need to kind of have some of these skills that we talk about to be able to go, I'm going to choose not to get defensive anymore. And I think and you can only really control, as we've said, yourself in that situation. And at any given point, in order to resolve that conflict, both of those people need to actually just stop being defensive. But I'm curious to know a little bit about that because
Well, the conflict competency is to name it.
mm-hmm.
So if
Name it
you
to tame it.
if you see yourself in this pattern where you're
Hmm.
cycling around the tit for tat and it's escalating, name it. Say, you know what? I'm hearing both of us getting really defensive. I know I'm getting
Hmm.
defensive.
Hmm.
One of the things I used to do when I was teaching at university, and I think I've mentioned this before, is I would ask a student to attack me publicly, verbally in class,
Mm.
so that I could demonstrate my responding
Hmm.
non-defensively.
Hmm.
And it was always a student who was really uncomfortable doing it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
they were good sports and they would do it.
Mhm.
And I would respond and then debrief with the class. How did you feel when this happened? And they didn't know that you could deal with something quite so non-defensively when the attack was so aggressive.
Mhm.
But they also learned that it's possible that you don't have to respond to
Mhm.
being attacked. You can manage the other person by managing yourself.
Mhm.
If they attack you or critique you in a way that you feel is attacked, even though that isn't their intention, when you manage it, you are right away stopping the cycle before
Mhm.
it escalates, which
Mhm.
is a tremendous conflict competence.
Mhm. My thought about that managing yourself to then manage others is a really interesting way to approach, I think, that agency that we've talked about. Realizing that like you are actually able to also get the result that maybe you're looking for. And I encourage folks to test this out a little bit, right? Be in that mindset of going, all right, in that situation, and we all have maybe people that we know that maybe set us off a little bit, or our ability to get defensive, right? Whether it's a colleague or even a neighbor, like the way that our interactions oftentimes can feel that way. And it'd be really interesting to not let yourself lean into the more maybe normal state of being defensive and realizing actually I can manage
Yes.
this, that I have the skills and tools to actually manage this in a way to help both of those people.
And the last piece of it is something that we
Mm,
heart tend to go back to. I know someone who is quite judgmental,
mm,
and we spend time together, and not my job to change this person. I accept that this person is judgmental. Just I accept it. Don't try to change it. Don't react to it. That's just them. It's not my job to point out to somebody when it is just the way they are.
mhm,
This is the way they show up,
mhm,
not my problem.
mhm.
Thank you, Tyson.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you for listening. I hope you'll subscribe to our podcast.